Hi, I'm Justin Smith with the News Reporter. My guest today for On the Record is Kellie Lewis. Kellie is the head of the Whiteville branch of the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. Kellie, thank you for being here.
I am so excited to be here, Justin. Thank you for inviting me.
So you all have a big milestone. You are celebrating 25 years as a museum. You have not been there all of those 25 years, but you've been there a majority of those years.
Them, yes.
You started in 2007.
Correct.
So I'm interested, what are some of the changes that you've seen in the museum over those years?
Oh my goodness, we have gotten so used to things changing because things change for us all the time. And that's not surprising being in the science world anyway. But we have been through some major changes in Whiteville, from the Forestry Museum through a major renovation to a facilities renovation, so just a different aspect and different feel of the place, to where we are now, which is a very exciting time for the museum. We are getting ready to make more changes. So we've learned from different phases in the past, and now we want to move forward to something new and exciting.
So the museum started, it's a former bank building on Madison Street in downtown Whiteville. Started as the North Carolina Museum of Forestry.
Correct.
So a very, specific kind of niche focus. Mm-hmm. And now, of course, you are a branch of the State Science Museum.
Yes.
How would you describe your mission right now as a branch of that museum?
It's really exciting, and I will probably use the word exciting a million times because it really is where we are. The mission of the Museum of Natural Sciences is to serve every community in the state, all 100 communities, 100 counties. So our mission is to serve Southeast North Carolina and help the main museum reach their mission. The thing that's so exciting, in that word again, we have the unique ability to serve our community. So we're very community focused while helping a statewide museum meet their mission as well. So it's really, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best of both worlds. We have the opportunity to present state type initiatives and have the backing and the expertise, the exhibits people, the marketing people, all those kinds of folks, education opportunities in Whiteville, North Carolina.
So I think that there are probably a lot of people in Columbus County who still have never been to the museum for whatever reason. Do you think that's true, and why do you think that is?
I know that to be true because I do what I call the Walmart mission, is if I see children anywhere, I'll go up to the parents and say, did you know, and I usually have my shirt on, right? So I'll say, did you know there was a museum in Whiteville and your child's age would be perfect for the things that we offer? And they've never heard of it. So we've recently hired an outreach coordinator, and his mission is to try to find those niches where we are not reaching folks. Our visitorship is increasing again. COVID was not our friend. We're still trying to build up numbers from then. So I don't know. We don't know. If you have any suggestions, we would love to hear it. But we are doing what we can to reach folks who wouldn't normally come to a museum. And that's a challenge too for us, is a lot of people coming through on 701, they Google museums, they come to the museum and have a wonderful time. What we're trying to reach are people who wouldn't normally come to the museum.
Someone who's never going to Google the word museum near me.
Correct,
Yeah.
because why would I want to go there?
Right.
And what we want to present is there are fun things for everyone, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything to come in and take advantage of all the things that we offer.
And it's really amazing when you think about it that we have a branch of a state science museum in a community like Whiteville, about 5,000 people.
Right.
Right. So do you think sometimes that maybe as a community we don't quite appreciate what we have when it comes to the museum?
That was more true when we were the Forestry Museum. And a lot of people don't realize, we were still a branch of the Museum of Natural Sciences. We've always been a satellite. But at that time, there were a lot of community people that didn't come back, because once you had seen it, you'd seen it. But now there are different things all the time, and we have a large community following. People that come and bring their kids weekly, or some of them daily. So we're getting more to where we want to be with that, but we're not where we want to be.
And it's probably important to note as well that even though there may be local people who don't know about the museum or have never been there, you do attract visitors from throughout the region.
Yes.
Right,
And
so
yes.
speak to that. I mean, you talked about like people who are passing through, but you also have field trips and groups, right?
Our reach in the last fiscal year was 15,000 people. So we are bringing in community folks over and over. We're bringing in field trips from probably 7 counties. We have them come from South Carolina. We've had them come from the Outer Banks. So we do bring field trips in from all over. Our field trips are top-notch. I'm very excited about our field trips. Lisa Yema is our school group coordinator, and she is amazing.
So give us a taste of that. So let's say a school group comes in. What are some of the activities? What would that field trip look like?
So depending on how many students and the unique opportunity that we have in Whiteville that we wouldn't have at the Parent Museum is we can design the field trip to meet your needs. So if you bring 2 classes, for example, we would have one in a classroom with an educator and one outside or in the museum proper. But I've got to tell you, one of the programs that Lisa did was an escape room about the periodic table. I have never seen 8th graders so excited about the periodic table in my life. And I don't think they were either at the beginning. But we can be so creative with opportunities that we have that I love that about our museum.
And you know, in education in recent years, there's been this real emphasis on STEM, right? So
Yes.
science, technology, engineering, and math. And how does the museum fold into that?
And then we also include the art. So we go with the STEAM sometimes.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Every school program that we offer meets state standards or state science standards. So teachers can know that when they come here, they can justify whatever. And so school groups we do charge for, but we also have a internal rule that we never turn a group away if they can't afford to pay. We have scholarships available that if they need to scholarship the whole program, we can do that for them. But we're very excited about what we can offer.
And so, you know, we've talked about field trips and school groups, but anybody can go, right? No appointment. You can show up as long as you're there during operating hours.
Right.
And so what is there for those folks to do? Let's say a mom shows up and she's got 2 kids with her on a Friday. What can they do?
The museum has several sections. We have the Investigate Lab, which is more targeted to a little bit older students. The Naturalist Center is, if you haven't been in the last year, we have expanded it, brought it out onto the floor. It's really a wonderful place to visit. Probably our most frequented place is the Discovery Forest, and there are role play costumes, a puppet theater with great puppets, a kitchen experience. We have a play veterinary clinic. Those kinds of things are available all the time. We have an outdoor nature play space that has an outdoor mud kitchen, the dig pit, flower gardens, all kinds of things in the outdoor. That space is fenced off, and it is open from 10 to 4, like the museum. We also have a tree trail that has life-size wooden figures that our own Bess Taylor painted and cut out, and they are periodically spaced out on the tree trail. and we have a fossil dig pit. So those things are free all the time. In addition to that, we have special public programs. We have place-based pop-ups and story times, and then the occasional meet me at the museum where we bring in a scientist to talk about something. We've started back our Teen Science Cafe. We are always looking for leadership for that program, but that is also available if you're just a teen and you're interested in a certain topic. We invite you to come and be part of that. Those programs are all free.
And I know there have been movies over the years.
on
I don't know if that's still going on, but I remember sitting out there with my young children, you know, enjoying movies and popcorn for sale and that kind of thing.
All kinds of good movie goodies.
Yeah. So you also, let's just set the stage again to reiterate. The museum is a part of state government, right? But you do have a Friends group, which is a nonprofit, and it supports the museum. Talk a little bit about what that group is.
The Friends are there to help support exactly what you just said. We have funding from the state, which is thank you for your tax dollars, but that budget does not cover the extra things that we would like, school supplies for our programs, different opportunities, exhibitry for the museum. So the Friends group has fundraisers and raises the money to help us with those kinds of things. And one of those fundraisers is coming up very soon. But we could not do a lot of what we do right now without the Friends group. That money is, that funding is critical to the new things.
And so let's go ahead and talk about that event. So it's related to the 25th anniversary of the museum.
I'm going to find my notes.
Sure, and while you're doing that, so I know that it's going to be on Thursday, September the 11th.
Correct.
At the museum.
Yes, that is going to be a really exciting event. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. So at that event, it's 5:30 to 7:30. We will have a history of the museum. There will be live music, but we will also have a special guest, Dr. Christian Kammerer, and he is the research curator in paleontology, and he is going to do a presentation, short 20-minute presentation, not long, about our Postosuchus, which is the giant skeleton that's at the front of the museum. It is not a dinosaur, and he's going to talk a little bit about that. It is a prehistoric crocodilian type creature, and we will also possibly, this might be spilling the beans a little.
Oh, spill them.
Joe Carter is the scientist who actually dug up that skeleton, and we have invited him to be a guest for this event. So he may be there, but Christian will definitely be there to talk about his expertise and Postosuchus. And there will be hors d'oeuvres, and our staff will have special tables out. I get very excited, Justin. Special tables out to sort of talk about what we do. So there might be a school group table out. There will be a outreach table out. Christian will have some bones that we don't normally have here that he is bringing down from Raleigh.
So the event is Thursday, September the 11th, and how can people buy tickets?
You can go online to the Friends Facebook page. You could call the museum at 910-788-5100 and ask for Debbie. And that's probably the best way.
Mm-hmm. So in the few minutes that we have remaining, I want to talk a little bit about you, because you obviously are so passionate about what you do. How did that passion start? Is it a passion for science? Is it a passion for education? Is it both of those things?
Probably both and all. My background was in marine biology. My first job was at the Skidaway Institute of Oceanography in Savannah, and I loved that job, but at some point it wasn't a career choice because of the nature of the job. So I went into industry and worked in a pigment company. So my specialty ended up being paint, paper, plastics, and pharmaceuticals, and then ended up with food, pharmaceuticals, electronics. Food, pharmaceuticals, electronics.
A lot of
Yes.
stuff.
Yes, but that was a very high-end specialty. I was responsible for North and South America, so it was a really exciting job, but that also didn't last long because the company decided to eliminate that high-end product. In the meantime, I had been on the board of directors for the Tybee Marine Science Center, and they needed a person to step in and run that museum for a while until they could find someone else. And I said, you know what? I miss being in marine science, and I'll go back to that. And at that point, I really got more involved with the education piece. So when I moved back to Whiteville to be with family, this position came open, and it's like, wow, I get the chance now to be the educator that I've been watching them and seeing how much fun they were having, and now I get to do that. So it took me a long time in that to finally decide to go ahead and pursue being head of the museum. But at that point, I had seen a lot of things over time and was excited to be able to put my own flair on the museum. So that's where we are now.
So picking up on that, this is probably a tough question, but
Okay.
what would be your vision for this museum 25 years from now when it's celebrating its 50th
Oh my
anniversary?
goodness.
What do you hope happens in the next 25 years related to the museum?
I would love to see, I hadn't thought that far out, so that's really exciting. I would love to see a new education building built behind the museum or to the side of the museum. If we had a dedicated space for education, right now our education classroom, we share it with rentals, with meetings, with the movies on Madison, Science Cinema. I would love to see a special space dedicated for the education programs with a couple of classrooms, washer and dryer, just saying. And then have the exhibits on the inside be more self-guided. Right now, there are a lot of things in the museum that you need someone to show you, like, how do we get through this? What am I supposed to do here? I would love to see a more immersive experience, which is so exciting, that word again, is what we're looking at now, is a really more, when you walk into the Naturalist Center, that you feel like you've gone into a research lab, or when you walk into the Discovery Forest, that you feel like you've gone into a special space. And that's what I'm really hoping for, that, that we have, and, we would love to have people in the museum that really love this community. The museum is it's a challenging place, and part of it is because there are changes all the time. And you have to have that passion for sharing your experiences, and this community specifically. We are not the typical museum community, and that makes things challenging. So when you embrace that challenge, makes it really rewarding. And this is usually when I just, start crying, but I won't do that today. But it's so rewarding, and I love going to the museum knowing that this community appreciates us being there, and it just makes me want to get up and go in there every day.
Wow. Well, how inspirational is that? In the final moments we have, so we're recording this on Thursday, September the 4th. This Saturday is going to be the North Carolina Honey Festival in downtown Whiteville. That is not a museum event. However,
Right.
we know that you are having a special event related to that or at the same time.
Yes.
Will you tell us a little bit about that?
We do participate in the Honey Festival. We definitely take advantage of, the folks being outside our door. We do have a special author coming in. It is Carolyn Frazier. She wrote Emma's for Mason Jar, and she will be doing 2 live readings, one at 11 and one at 1 o'clock, and she will have books for sale, and that will be there at the museum. That event is sponsored by our partner CCN-CRA, which is the Columbus Council of North Carolina Reading Association. So we partner with them for a couple events a year, and this is one of them.
Very good. And I know you have other upcoming events as well, but I would encourage people to come to our website or go to your Facebook
Yes.
page, and there are other ways that they can learn about those. So,
Correct.
Kellie Lewis, head of the Whiteville branch of the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Justin. I hope to come back soon.
Absolutely, and thank you for tuning in. If you want to watch any past episodes of On the Record, you can do that on our website right now, nrcolumbus.com.